humanitarian effort hampered by politics. Disturbing discoveries in a Calgary kitchen at the center of a massive E. coli outbreak.
Violations related to food handling, sanitation, and pest control.
The search for the source after hundreds of kids got sick. Plus, Apple's power trip.
That is the biggest announcement out of the summit.
The major change to the iPhone charger.
Wow.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina.
Good evening, everyone. The brute force of nature has snatched entire neighborhoods into the sea in Libya, where tonight the death toll is more than 5,000, with 10,000 feared missing. Here's fresh satellite imagery after floodwaters smashed through 2 dams and cut through the port city of Derna, a quarter of it gone. And here's what it looked like before the powerful Mediterranean storm crashed ashore. CTV's Genevieve Beauchemin on the catastrophe and how the country's political divide may have contributed to the destruction.
The people of the port city of Derna began to bury their dead. So many were killed by Storm Daniel. Mass graves are the only option. Several bodies have come from area hospitals that, along with a large section of the city, were destroyed by flood. We counted the victims as they were lying in the hallway, says this doctor. Those who are identified by family or friends are buried. The devastation is testament to both the force of the storm and the vulnerability of Libya after a decade of chaos over control of the country. Powerful Storm Daniel is the Mediterranean's equivalent of a hurricane known as a medicine.
This storm was so extreme is that the Mediterranean was about 5 degrees warmer than average.
It dumped more than 440 millimeters of rain in a single day, 8 to 10 times the monthly average in the region. For context, that's more than 3 times the deadly amount that fell over one devastating day in July in Nova Scotia.
This speaks to sort of really what climate change is doing.
The floodwaters in Libya washed away entire neighborhoods and smashed through 2 dams upstream from Derna, unleashing rivers of water. Some say local authorities neglected those structures meant to protect Derna as Libya's rival factions in the east and west clashed. That's devastating to those who lost aunts, uncles, cousins.
This, for me, is a direct cause, or a partial cause of the deaths of those thousands.
Including your family members?
Including, the at least sort of 11 family members we know of so far.
The aftermath of the tragedy did bridge some of the divide. The Tripoli-based government in the west was among those sending in aid to the struggling east. Global Affairs says more than 1,300 Canadians are registered in the region, but it has no reports of any missing or dead. Genevieve Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
The majority of the 100,000 Canadians of Moroccan descent live in Quebec. And today that province pledged $1.5 million in aid to Morocco for hope of finding survivors after the earthquake is fated. Rescue teams recovered bodies from under the rubble of this remote town. Survivors are now living in makeshift tents for the 4th night. In Marrakesh, Morocco's king visited the injured at a hospital and donated blood. Nearly 3,000 people have died. Back on this side of the world, Atlantic Canada is bracing for a storm that is weakening but expanding. Let's bring in CTV meteorologist Kaylin Mitchell, who's tracking the path. And Kaylin, walk us through the timeline over the next few days.
Thank you very much. Well, Hurricane Lee is a Category 3 hurricane. Forecast, though, to weaken to a Category 2 and then Category 1 as it runs into some cooler waters sitting just to the west of Bermuda. Then we'll approach and move into the southern marine areas of the Maritimes as a Category 1 hurricane.